Hey all, Resident Evil 4 dropped in VR last night. And let me say, it looks really, really good. Let's talk about it a little bit. So, I am a huge Resident Evil fan. I thought Village was amazing in VR. And, I knew Res 4 was coming out at some point in VR, and I was definitely waiting for that. I think it may be the only Resident Evil game I haven't played. At any rate, it did not disappoint. With so many losing titles that have come out just recently, I mean, there have been some good ones, but a lot of losers. Uh, this just hit the spot. The combat is amazing. The knife work, the dual wielding, all of it. It feels so good. The look, the reanimation, all those things. I mean, it's a beautiful game. Now, that's not terribly surprising. Resident Evil usually looks pretty good. So, where does it rate in comparison with other good games? Let's compare it to Village mostly. It absolutely rates with Village. I felt like initially Village was a little bit harder, but two different games. You can't even really compare them. The fighting style of this game is definitely a little more advanced. It's beautiful what you can do with the dual wielding of weapons and just, I mean, you can do a massive amount of damage with just that knife alone. Now, the knife does wear down, so it's not just going to last the whole time. They break, you have to repair them, but wow, it is a fun weapon. The guns shoot really well, the aiming mechanisms are great, the physics all around are beautiful. I mean, there's not a whole lot to complain about. Now, maybe the only complaint I really had is a lot of the buildings, fences, auxiliary surroundings, they're not interactive at all. You can just put your hand through a wall, put your hand through almost anything. There's no real boundaries. That being said, that's really not that big of a deal. Honestly, the stealth assassinations are so satisfying that I mean, gosh, there's so many satisfying aspects of this game. I think there's something for everybody. Unless you just truly can't stand horror, or just the genre is awful, or VR makes you nauseous, those would be the only reasons to not be interested in this game, in my opinion. And I do understand that a lot of people are not into horror and get scared about that kind of stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. It takes all kinds for sure. Now, that being said, I may be a little desensitized, but I didn't find this quite as scary as Village. Village had a lot more darkness to it. It was also earlier on in my VR experiences, so it may just be that I've become a little desensitized since then. But this game feels like it's got a really good pace to where you can take out the enemies one at a time, so they're not as overwhelming. It is easy to get overwhelmed in this game still, but if you pace yourself and go slow, you probably won't have that issue. I can tell you almost every time I died, I was just trying to run through something, overeager. There's always a little bit of that angst, so that plays into it, but all in all, it's just a beautiful looking game. The way they put the first person to third person was a little odd to me initially, but it didn't break immersion somehow. I really felt like that might kill my immersion, but it didn't. It actually made it a little cooler. Those little first person or third person cutscenes are actually pretty cool. I really enjoyed them. I mean, we know about the story. The story's been around for a while, so it's a good story. We don't need to talk about that. Unless you want to, but kind of beating a dead horse. This game's been around for a bit. So, the VR. I mean, the melee, the blocking of the melees, I mean, all of it just felt so good. I mean, which plays into the physics. I'm starting to beat a dead horse here. I know that, but all I can say is that I highly recommend this game. If you're a fan of the Resident Evil series at all, you will enjoy this. So far, I think I like it better than Village. I mean, they're not quite comparable, but this game's a little bit more satisfying in some ways. So I wouldn't want to compare it, but wow, it's a good game. So, with that being said, if you're a Resident Evil fan, if you're a horror fan, if you're a VR fan that can handle horror, there's no reason not to get this game. This game's supreme winner. It was on sale for $30, I think, to the 10th of December. So you've got a little time to get it for $30 still. And I bet they'll have another sale, but till the 10th, you can at least get it for $30. So that's something. And for that price point, even for the full price point, it's well worth it. It's an amazing game for all lovers of Resident Evil and the horror genre. And I can't wait to continue playing it and beating it. And so I recommend you go out there, check it out, and let me know what you think about it, because I've got nothing bad to say. So thanks everyone for hanging out, watching, listening to my 2 cents for what they're worth. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, and we'll talk soon. Have a great day, or night, whichever it is.